Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. I am currently feeding calves. It is the PM evening shift. So all of these little nuggets need to be fed. And they know it's supper time. They're very trained. So just did a bit more calf feeding filming on the drone. Really loving how that footage is turning out. And I saw Sandy Brock do it in her sheep barn, and I've been meaning to try and do some filming in the calf rooms for a long time. It's just such a small area compared to what I'm used to flying my drone in. So I just felt a little sketched out, if that makes sense. So I never wanted to. And then I saw Sandy Brock do it and I was like, okay, I gotta do it too. It looks so cool. So that's a little bit of the inspiration behind why I started filming with the drone in the calf rooms. Because I did do it in the milking parlor a while ago, and I was like, you know, it'd be really cool to get aerial shots of the calves. And I'd like to do it in the cow barn too. Just gotta make sure that the drone isn't gonna scare them, because it's quite like buzzy. The calves don't mind because they're constantly in sort of a white noise situation just because of the fans that bring in the fresh air all the time. Like, this is constantly going so that they can get fresh air. So because of that, I'm not as afraid of them, you know, going psycho and hurting themselves, because they're kind of used to that kind of noise anyway. The cows, on the other hand, if they have the awareness to see it, which typically they do, might be a different story. So I'm not really willing to risk that in the cow barn. So we're still feeding groups of steers in the old barn, and we got a new orange wagon. It drives so much better. The wheels are all good, just so smooth. Actually, we were having some troubles with the milk taxi as well, with the tires just kind of expiring, I guess. So Brent, our heavy duty mechanic, actually fixed that for us. It's unbelievable what he's all capable of fixing. We'd be in a pretty big bind if not for him. So we're always really thankful that he can fix stuff. We have all of these nutcases. They're ready for their milk. So I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that little guy there, 186, he started drinking last because he was too busy chewing on something. And that steer calf specifically has always been unbelievably slow. Like, he is supposed to be in this group, and he's much smaller. He's the size of calves that are a couple weeks younger than he is. So this is why we don't like doing the group hen housing, because there's always one calf that's just not as aggressive with the food, and that means that they're not going to grow as well as the other ones. So it's kind of frustrating to see that, because it's like if you were just a little bit smarter and a little bit faster, you'd be able to eat and grow no problem. But some of them just aren't made that way. So that's why we really love doing single housing, so that no matter how slow a calf may be, every single animal gets the same amount of food, and they can take as long as they need to drink it or eat it, you know, and then they have the same chance. A calf like him doesn't stand a chance against an entire other group of calves, and he'll never grow. And if we hadn't moved him from the older pen to the younger pen, he would have died. So it's just, our single housing just works so much better to ensure that everybody has a fighting chance at growing. And yeah, I will always advocate for single calf housing, because that's just, they just do so much better that way. So Mirjam's checking her cheeses. How has it been going with the cheese making, Mirjam?
Alright, I think we're making progress almost every week, so that's good.
Yeah, the one you cut open and let me try yesterday, I was gonna eat the whole block. So, what's the most problematic thing you've had so far?
Honestly, just getting the texture of the cheese right. Like, for the most part, the only one that hasn't been too dry has probably been from March 12th. So that was my 4th batch.
Okay.
So,
I mean, they all tasted pretty good.
They tasted pretty good, but I found that the other ones were too dry. They weren't young enough.
Oh, what's going on over here?
Those are the cheeses that have to come out of the brine. You kind of have to weigh it down, because otherwise they'll pop up, but yeah.
So this is your brine bath?
Yeah, brine bucket.
And yeah. And what's your goal for the next batch?
I kind of want to work with spices soon, so just really figuring out how to make a good younger cheese, and then hopefully making that more consistently. Right now I'm just trying to get like the proper taste that you're supposed to get. Like, they all tasted decent, like okay, but they weren't what they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my goal for the next one as well. Just keep trying to make good tasting cheese. It's pretty simple, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not a cheese connoisseur, but I think you're doing pretty good already. All right. Thanks, Mirjam.